My VIP cohort, ready to lend an ear. You're in for something special today. If you want to hear it, I know you want to hear it. It is this. I want nothing to do with you. That's the whole line. Bingo bongo right there. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. So what will this play off as? I'm going to go off onto the tangent of, or the vein of, rejection. That's what I'm going to go into. Rejection and our tolerance to that, and probably welcoming it more or less. And in the regards, the pain that follows it, but the suffering that we choose to enact onto it makes it even worse. So we just have to come with the idea that, one, if something, somebody, or anything doesn't want to be a part with us, okay, maybe in another life or timeline, it happened. Ain't happening right now. So the first part is, come to peace with it. Excuse me. Long day. So I'm just going to take it more of an easy with this video, because that's the first part. You don't have to give a fuck. You only give the fuck on what you should value. And what you should value is rejection. You have to go through it many times to define your character and many other things. You ain't going to have it if you're just having extravagant lifestyle, but nobody's telling you no. And you can't get passive aggressive. And I'm talking to you. Sometimes when you're in your head and you're like, man, I'm going to make them want to see my way. There is only my way. If you're going like that, sorry guys, you're out of luck. Because that's not how humans respond. It gets you in a world of hurt and a lot of legal trouble and so forth. And you're bringing out a monster that's not supposed to just go on a rampage. It's good to showcase the monster at points where it's needed. This is not where it's needed. When there's boundaries drawn, don't go crossing those boundaries. Now, you may be asking, well, Phil, that person was the one and only person that I can't live without. They were the chosen. If they tell you there's a boundary, live by it. And the only exception to this, I'm going to give you a little hope. And don't let this be like a drug of hopium. You have to go in with no regards. Identify that you're respecting the boundary, but I want to open this up. And if it is possible, yet if there is no possibility, I'm going to keep the door closed. And you cannot just do this on repeat for months and months on end. No, this is like, I would say, once a year. That you only get that. And that could be even less. This is like the one-time thing. Like, you know, you must say this, or you're not going to be at peace with yourself. And you've done all the peacemaking that you've done meditation-wise. If there's the ability to tell them this while they're living, do it. And if they passed, they're over your shoulder, my friend. That's the thing that I had to learn. With people passing, you just got to do it over your shoulder. Like, they're never gone. They're over, and they're watching non-judgmentally. Because the part that got me scared is like, people might be saying that they're watching you in the bathroom, man. That's kind of weird. And I'll be like, yeah, that is right. So non-judgmental. Then it's just like, hey, it's just watching. Now that sounds worse, but nevertheless, that takes a sip. So, we have that going on. There's another good story that I'm going to go on to. With it being on rejection, not tangent of rejection. That would be an equation that is too much for my mind at this time. When I was doing sales calls, when I was doing my MLM days, I know I fell for it. The MLMs. Own your own business and recruit more people, but not teach you how to make the product sell itself. Or closing. Took many books. And even then, you gotta build trust and do all the stuff in the behind the scenes. You can use stuff to get it closed, but if you give people bad products, just know it ends up badly. Look, you can give a little bad of a product and still be okay. But if you just keep giving bad product after bad product and not trying to improve upon it, that's when the bad product's going to get you in a world of hurt. That's where this part is. Don't be living in the bad product. Go for the good product. Even if it's in the bad and you're improving constantly on it. It's far better than just saying I'm okay with bad product. Think about it like this. I create a website. It's pretty nice. Looks great on the beginning. But I don't think about the back end of what needs to go on the back end, where like CLIs, widgets, data analyst type of tracking and so forth, consents, compliances. I just say screw it. There's no privacy in terms, no opting out. You just hop on the page. And that's A-okay. Woo! No. This is where the part where I'm shaking, because that's where rejection is. I'd rather have rejection from a relationship or somebody I'm trying to sell to. I don't want rejection from the IRS or the government, because I ain't getting adherent to the laws, because the rejection will be me in not a good place. So, do we make mistakes? Yes. Do we let those mistakes batter us down and say there is nothing good to live on for? No. No, 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 no. You can mess up very badly. Very badly. But does that mean that you should stop living? No. No, nope, nope. You gotta live. Look, there's some things, if the severity is very high, and that's like a few very rare things, I'm not going to go into that in this video, then all right. But I'm going to say this. Your shit ain't as bad as what you're making it sound like. You're blaming yourself way too hard, and if there is consequences, accept them. Work behind them. Outmaneuver them. Do the moves that are necessary to get you out of it. Look, I ain't here to judge. That's my main job. Not to judge you. I want to give you the content that you need. Go out there, use the frameworks, and wabamo. So the framework of rejection is simply this. When you go back to my MLM days, I'm going to be doing all these damn calls, because that's what happened. And they keep telling you no, no, no. And you're just like, yeah, you want to get this thing, that thing. You're so dang desperate that the rejection is just there. And this is the greatest part, when you remove desperation. Stop being desperate. Stop falling into this grinding culture where you gotta hustle. The only reason that you gotta do the hustle in the beginning, and this is why I think most of these people say it, it's that you just have to have the work ethic. That's all. I don't think you need to have the grinding session for years and years on end. I don't believe that's how it works. I believe it works like this. You must have the work ethic, because there's going to be times where it's going to require you to push over the limit. And that's where greatness lies. If you come off work and instead of doing Netflix, you go create content, or you have the Netflix off to the side and you're reviewing it and you're creating content wherever you go, keeping catalogs, doing whatever is your forte, and this could be many more. That's how it goes. Simply put it. So, get that rejection. Enjoy life. Stop beating yourself up. Stop giving a damn on all the stuff that doesn't matter. Stop grinding, because the final part of grinding is just your work ethic. You're going to have to make calls where you're going to miss sleep. A-okay. I know some people will be like, you need your 8 hours. I agree with the 8 hours, but at points where you need the entrepreneurial spirit, you need to go past it at some point to learn that work ethic and to know how to shift your sleep pattern. That's the only way I think that the grind culture gets in. That's the only reason you need that little grind culture. It's just to know that you can switch your sleep hours and to push past the hours that are required without a boss man over your neck. That's the only reason I think you need to grind. Then after the point, you need to get to consistency. Break off from that cycle and just do something consistent over and over and not worry about money. Worry about getting out the good product first. Now, some people will be like, you need to get the pre-orders list, get that and that. No. Get the product built. We have Claude. We have all these things. Build it out right. Excuse me. If you ain't building it out right, what are you doing? Go back, work on it constantly. I would rather hear somebody say, I spent a year and I made sure I was polishing up everything, reading as much as possible on like sales and stuff associated in my sphere, than them just say, I watched one YouTube video. They said, go do this and then run and do all this other stuff. Now, I ain't going to say that it won't work. It can work. What I'm saying is I prefer the other one because they're learning the skills of what's required to get the thing operational. Now, yes, you can go hire people and delegate and so forth. But in today's world where you got large language models and yourself, if you can understand these types of things, contribute that 1 year and how it's evolving so fast and just start implementing and seeing so many spots, you're going to be a better leader in the end. Hear that one more time. You're going to be a better leader in the end if you can see many spots because you dabbled in all these parts, little bits. It's not your thing. And then you get focused on the one dang thing. So you do all this grinding for all these other things and you're dabbling. You fail miserably and you focus on the one thing because you've got all this knowledge collecting down to this funnel. Imagine that, the funnel, not a pyramid, funnel of your brain down to this one focus. And then at the point where you have all the requirements met, this is the part they don't want to tell you about. You can have resources, you can have all this stuff, but if you don't follow requirements, it can get all shut off. Hear that one more time. Shut off if you don't get all the requirements. Requirements in like laws, legal, ethics, and so forth. Now, some can bypass it because they have power, of course. What I'm saying is, if you don't even put it into consideration of the requirements, you're already at a disadvantage. If you don't understand how to read like law documents, like a lawyer in some capacity, or go to the large language model and go back and forth and see what fits, and then this is not legal counsel, but I would recommend going seeing legal counsel if you have the funds and then do that. Doing always a layering of double checking and making sure things are operational and doing it correctly. Rejection comes from the inability to see something that is there, whether known or unknown. Simple as that. And my statement to you could be the worst statement of all, or it could be the best statement of all. Doesn't matter. Take the rejection, use it as the catalyst. That was my one line. I want nothing to do with you. That was the line I heard from somebody. It drove me to unheard proportions. I went and wrote a book. I did building of a website deeper. I started looking at operations deeper. I was deep on Claude code, Claude ecosystem, the environment, getting that thing onto your computer, doing VS Code, getting Python 3.10. I haven't played hard on the VS Code with the Claude, but I've tested it a little bit there. I kept to the application that got downloaded there. Nevertheless, I went into like the Claude MD, looking at the files, looking at the skills that you can implement here, see what you can do here, build out the schedules and routines, go into the plugins, delete the Claude MD after 6 months, listening to Boris, automations with NAN, looking at Hermes by NOS Research. All these things came from that one line. And I bought lifetime softwares as well because I said to myself, it doesn't matter on compound interest. And not to disenfranchise people that say, invest, S&P 500, index fund, all this and that. Okay, your risk tolerance, you want to put it there. In the regards of somebody that has ambition, passion, not go following your passion, but develops a passion in something that's not there, but illuminates just by you doing the work in it. And all these things start coming together like a web work. You owe it yourself not to go run off to the index. You owe it to finish it out. And when people keep telling you all this stuff, where is the person that comes in and says, no, that plan is not working for you, buckaroo? Because that plan works when you just want to keep doing this. But if you're a reader, you're a warrior, that's like doing gym, doing your thing. That's how I think of it. Like you're doing your physical and your mental. And then you've been abandoned where you don't got that network. You're building it. Those are like the three things that you can't throw somebody into just like the 9 to 5 jargon and repeat. You can still do the 9 to 5, but their mind must elevate. You can't just stay the same, or you're just going to let their torch just burn out. And that is such a waste. Rejection is the catalyst, not the end. The only end is if you pass away. But we make rejection into this event that we're going to pass away or we're done and over. And there are points where it can get to that dark place. I've had that moment. During COVID, I lost nearly everything. Came out of children's homes. Was with my grandparents, but I lost my job and I lost it. I did not want to do anything any longer. I didn't leave the room. I was totally gone. And that hurt. And I had to get out of there. That's why I wrote one of my first books, Don't Immerse Yourself in that Environment. You do not owe other people how you feel. Hear that. You don't owe other people how you feel. You owe it to yourself to make sure you get your emotions on track. And whatever course must be done to get your emotions on track, do so. If you have to break all other philosophies to make sure that you're in a stable spot where you can develop these things, that is primordial in originating. You must be in a place where you can start developing your own philosophies. Stop adopting everybody else's. You can adopt it. Stop just saying that that's the only thing. Go and expand. Start making something of your own. Innovate. Stop buying into the crap and start buying into you. And now you're coming to this point where it's like, Phil, you're ranting, aren't you? Yes, I am ranting. Because rejection, it hurts. Everything up to now is the way rejection feels. It feels like a rant. It feels like rumination in your own head. That whether I can agree or disagree and all these flipping crazy thoughts running through. And what you have to do is just get calm, silent, and find the things that work for you. You have your own life to live. It's esoteric. It's uniquely yours. Even if we have so much of a 99% similarity, it's still yours. You're in a different spot, different house, different this. That's what's esoteric about it. No matter the similarities, it's still a different placement. So, a woman rejects your love notion. A boss declines your promotion. A business doesn't succeed. And you hear, there's no plan B. You don't create an exit strategy. You're stressed. The stories can go on and on of a rejection. You do a sales call and they tell you no, they're a brick. You use every technique in the book. You use NEPQ from Jerry Minor, and still they give you a no. The rejection happens because you can't always get a yes. We all hate someone that just says yes and kiss my ass. No, do not be that person. You gotta tell them no. Boundaries exist because you're not meant to serve every single body. Your thing can spread to everybody, but you're not meant to serve everybody. You're meant to serve the things that are the foundational blocks. And then who build off from there? They make theirs, and then it spreads. It's not your job to please everybody. That's not how the game works. It never will. There's no fairness. There's opportunity, and that's what love is. There's opportunity. It's not handed to you. It's out there. But you have to go through the windy roads, the paths least traveled. You have to look at, question, what are the things I'm doing give me leverage or put me at a disadvantage where I have no ability to move? You can fail. And we all have our own stories, own things, and we have to just get creative of how we go about things. We can't just say the world is over. All our currency is just dried out. So, does that mean that you stop working and not do anything? No. You continue it and you start shifting to what works. And that's all. To my VIP cohort, accept rejection. Don't let rumination take over. Allow this to be the one thing in your head that's there. You got it, go after it. And rejection is along the process. And the time that you will make it there, you will understand that these attempts are just there to showcase it's not meant for everybody. It's meant for you to share it and announce it. And those that receive it, and you do it as greatly as possible because you trained, takes the maybes into a yes for you, and the yeses, even more yeses. The no's, you can possibly convert them to yeses as well. But if they're a brick no, you know that that's a part of the rejection. And it's A-OK. And you got this. Because life's going on. There's only two guarantees in life. Life and death. Unless you're immortal. I don't know, but I haven't met that yet. So, enjoy life. Look at the negatives and the positives. The neutral, the hidden. See all this stuff to come to your own conclusions. And smile at the face of the sublime, because it's wonderful. Deuces.